one of the physios and StudyBuddy team member. Today we have Ankush with us, somebody who has cleared PCE, NPTE and is also a mentor with StudyBuddy. So we're very excited to have you here today, Ankush.
Thank you so much for the introduction. It's my pleasure to be here. I hope you're doing well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. How about yourself?
I'm here with a new place, so all good. And the journey I still remember with the StudyBuddy. It's been like many years. It's like a family now. So I think the big credit goes to them, apart from my family and everyone. Yeah.
Amazing. So how about Ankush, we listen to your story, share how was your journey from PCE to NPTE and then yourself as a mentor.
Okay, so let me start with, I think I gave my exam. So PCE has two components. One is PCE written exam and then one is PCE clinical, right? So this is what we're talking about, the Canada exam. I started preparing for the written exam, and I think the first one whom I contacted in the PCE team at that time, she's also one of the mentor. So I think the first person I reached out, and she really helped me a lot, in then getting in touch with me with Ankit sir, and then I enrolled with the team. Practicing in India from last almost 10-12 years, and majorly in musculoskeletal, right? So I was not really practicing actively in cardiopulmonary or neurological system. But I think the StudyBuddy team entirely, they are working so hard. So I think people who have this kind of background, they only worked in one sort of genre. It really helps them to bring it back to, you are now aware about other systems, cardiopulmonary and everything which has been asked for the exam, right? So I'll start with, what told me in the beginning, Ankush, try not to go through the books. Just try to stick with the lectures. Try to absorb as much as possible you can. And then the next step would be going through the reference book, which is required for PCE exam. And I did the exactly same thing. I started going through the lectures, trying to absorb things. So MSK was quite easy for me because I was practicing. But neuro, which is taken by Mayank sir, multi-system is taken by Pooja ma'am. Ankit sir is taking musculoskeletal and cardiopulmonary plus ethics as well, right? So I think the entire team has been working so hard. After I finished my syllabus through the lectures only, I'm not talking about reference book, I was feeling quite confident to go, and that now I'm feeling like I'm prepared sort of thing, and I should now appear for the exam. And then I started giving mock exams as well. So at that time they had 4 mock exams, and now they have 5 updated exams. And because I'm a mentor, so I know they are updating the exams also every year as per the standard, which is really, really good. I finished my lectures, and then I started giving mock exams. I also took my mentorship, like for PCE written exam. Ritika ma'am, she is in Bombay, and I took her mentorship. So, the benefits that, thank God I was in touch with PCE StudyBuddy team. The communication was really constant. So if I had any issue in understanding some concept, I can easily reach out to any one of them. In mentorship, what it brings out for me, she narrowed down the things for me. Okay, this is what is really important for you. This is how you need to understand. These are the conceptual information. This is the factual information, all those stuff. And then she was also giving me feedback after every mock exam. Okay, you need to do rationalization of this one, and then you move on with the next one, and then the next one. So I think 2 weeks before the exam, I was feeling subtle, calm, composed, that I think I can do it, and I can. So I gave my exam in September 21. I started preparing around the Jan of the same year. So it took me, because I was working also full time in India at that time. So I think with that, I took almost 6 months to prepare and give the exam. And I took a month off from my work so that I can now completely devote everything for this exam.
I'm very curious to know, was there any particular topic or subject which you found difficult, and what were the challenges and how did you overcome?
Okay, so I think coming from the musculoskeletal background where I've worked for almost 10, 12 years. So the biggest challenge when I was, going through the syllabus of exam was, apart from MSK, it was neuro, it was cardiopulmonary, it was multi-systems and ethical part. So I was thinking, because I was not practicing, so I was not really actively aware about. And then you study something back in the days in the college, and then you start fading that basic thing because you're not in that department to practice, right? And that's why it was challenging for me, because in the exam they're going to ask every single thing about every single topic. And that's where when I had a word with the PC teachers, the entire team, Mayank sir is taking care of neuro, and neuro is a huge chunk. Again, the portions are so big. If you talk about stroke, if you talk about spinal cord injury, I mean, these two only chapters have a huge chunk. Believe me, he made like a cakewalk. The neuro lectures, he will make, he used to make us understand so easily about every tiny concept, every single thing, that I still remember pretty much everything what he said in the lectures. It was very lively in explaining about the basic concept and how you will connect this to the other one. So I think after a few lectures, I got very comfortable with neuro lectures, which was the biggest fear for me. Okay, I can still crack MSK part, but what about other things? So neuro, I think I would say, is a great or biggest gun I've seen in the master in neuro. He teaches so well, so well. So I think
I've heard this a lot. A lot of people.
I don't have the words to express my gratitude, but he's the greatest I've seen in the neuro.
I think I've heard people, calling him Neuro Guru.
I think Neuro Guru also will be probably the less to say. I have all the gratitude. I'm lucky to learn, not just for the exam purpose, but I think he taught a lot beyond the exam as well, that you can actually start practicing, when you start practicing in a neuro department. So he's really good. So I think for me, it worked very well, and it took the entire fear out of the journey. Neuro is sorted. Then the next was, again, in the next compartment was cardiopulmonary for me, again, because I was not someone coming from who have practiced in hospitals in India or in cardiopulmonary department, right? Now that's where Ankit sir, he will again start, teaching in his initial lectures about the basics about cardiopulmonary. What is cardiac output, what is cardiac index, what exactly is the, how you're gonna measure certain things, the sign and symptoms. So like he will make us comfortable with the, with the definitions, with the basic concepts, and then gradually he will step up. So in the first few days, you have to go back and read a bit with the lectures, but it is very, very comfortable. So I think again, where, he will let us solve many questions. He will take the live sessions on cardiopulmonary, where you can ask one-on-one or doubts to him. And he was constantly saying, do not go through the books, finish your lectures, maybe go back and revise again, and try to absorb at least 70 to 80% of what we have done, and then go and practice questions. So again, when I started, the first few lectures were like bouncers for me, because again, I'm someone not coming from the same background. So it was taking time for me. But then eventually I was very comfortable how it worked with neuro the same way. So I think that's what I'm saying, it's all about the team worked very hard, in making all the subjects very easy, and what is only required for the exam purpose. So it's not like everything they know the boundaries, they know the domain, and they're working absolutely in the same manner what is required for the exam. And then the third challenge for me was multi-system, which is being taken care by Pooja ma'am, Purvi. So these guys are taking about, other lectures, other system, multi-system, non-system, where the electrotherapy, pregnancy, burns, peripheral vascular disease have been covered. And again, everybody, I think, has the same, because everybody working on the same page, everyone will start from the basics, and then they will go up and go to the next level, which I think it's a beautiful thing, because when you sometimes see other lectures, and they will just start with the very complicated concepts. And maybe if your basics are not clear, then everything will be on the roof. So I think eventually when I started taking few lectures about all these subjects, I thought, okay, I think I can do it. I just need to revise them, do more practice for the questions, and I'll do it. And then last part, which is very important for the exam as well, which is the ethical scenarios or ethical part. Now, someone like me who was not working in Canada at that time, so obviously I was not aware of the system, because you're not actually in the system. I'm practicing in India. Now that's where Ankush Ai's classes, they fill the gap. No matter if you're practicing in Australia or in India or anywhere else, and their classes again being very focused what is required for this exam. So he will take 3 to 5 classes on ethical scenarios, where he would be discussing about every single thing what is required, maybe consent, abuse, billing department, everything, right? And then again, the same strategy, you need to go back and revise again, do more practice, you will get comfortable. The whole mantra is again, go back and revise and practice, go back again, revise and practice. That's it. So I think it really worked for me, the whole classes, because they have been completely working what is required for the exam. So they're not all over the place. The whole domain is being made so that they can help student very well, whomsoever is preparing for specifically PCE written exam. That's it. So I think, and you'll learn a lot. So I think my fear actually went out after 2 months after joining them, post-joining them. So I thought now, I felt, okay, I think I can do it.
Teaching techniques or strategies that the teachers use, like, mnemonics and storytelling art, or, anything different that StudyBuddy has done with these difficult subjects?
Yeah, so I think, this is like a art that you create. It's like a craft, right? So like Mayank coming with, starting with a neuro, Mayank sir will tell you many stories about one topic, about one concept. He will try to connect that one concept with a story so that you will learn, or you will understand in a better way, which I still remember pretty much everything, every story that he said. And sometimes he give you so funny examples that you will not feel like, believe me, I thought neuro would be the boring subject, but believe me, it was one of the most interesting classes, because he will make the class very energetic all the time, with the way of his teaching, with the mnemonics, with the stories. Then in multi-system also, you will get a lot of mnemonics, about certain things which are more factual, where you don't have much conceptual thing. You just have to keep revising them, over and over. So then they will give you a lot of tips about mnemonics, how to remember these things, and few things that you just keep revising 2-3 weeks before the exam. So yes, we have, they have all these strategies also, whatever you can do, or, whatever they will give you in terms of mnemonics and all, that will ease your burden so that you don't have to remember everything. And it works, yeah. So they do have.
Amazing. Also, I understand that you have over a decade of experience with MSK, but, when you prepare for the exam, then there are many boxes which opens, right? Because being in a clinical setup versus, going into the academic stuffs. So how did you cover your MSK?
Okay, so yeah. So MSK, I was practicing for a very long time. I did not find at that time very challenging. But yes, rightly as you said, still there were many topics which we don't practice on daily basis, which is just there on the textbooks, or for the exam purpose, but you don't see, or you hardly see 1% those cases. And yes, that's where when you take the classes and you learn more and more and more about those things which maybe you have not seen today, you might see tomorrow in the clinical practice as well. Especially because the exam is being designed for Canada, definitely you're going to see those things in Canada as well. That's why they are the part of the exam. So yes, I think the MSK, again, they have covered everything which was required, and will shift your knowledge from level 1 or wherever you are, it will move to the next levels in all the domain, whether it is MSK, neuro, other system, and cardiopulmonary. So in MSK also, because MSK is a huge chunk for the PCE itself. around 40% is a 30%, 40% is MSK. So quite huge, right? If you are comfortable, it will work for you. But again, the lecture, again, you will not be practicing everything back home. So the lectures will sufficiently cover every single thing, from the smallest topic to the biggest topic.
This was your, this was your ingredient of success. And with the best of my knowledge, you have cleared your PCE written in September 2021, and the scoring system was a bit different that time. But you are somebody who got quite a high score. In fact, it was one of the highest score that students have scored, right?
Highest marks. I wanted to clear the exam so I can start my journey. But yes, when people ask me, what have you done something extraordinary? And I tell people, believe me, I have not done something extraordinary. So if I have to cover it up in few things, I went through only lectures. I didn't go through the books in the initial phase. I started practicing more questions. I was listening to my mentor, what she was telling me. So the whole credit, the credit goes to her as well, because she literally narrowed down my preparation. My teachers, Ankit sir, Mayank sir, Pooja ma'am, Purvi, everybody, so they worked really hard. And I just focusing more on the lectures and questions. So I think that worked very well for me to fetch that decent score. I didn't do something that, I have to study from 10 different books, or I studied. No, I did not. Believe me, I did not study from too many books, which is not a part of the exam, or I did some 10-15 mock exams practice. No, I just gave, at that time, they, I think, literally launched the 4th mock exam as well. Now, as I am talking, so they have 5 mock exams, but at that time, I only gave 3 mock exams of StudyBuddy. But I went through all the rationalization that is being told by my mentor or teachers. So again, I just kept my basics very strong, nothing very extraordinary, and it worked. I think the day worked for me. 5% luck. I still remember a few topics which I was fumbling around, or maybe you can say not my very favorite topic, which I wanted to be. I never wanted those topics to be a part of the exam, which they were not. So I would say 5% was my luck. Some support. Let's say I'm stuck in some preparation or some concept, or I'm low. Sometimes you lose motivation as well. That is very, very important when you are, because these exams are not easy. Somebody is married, somebody's have a family, somebody's earning, somebody have taken some off from the job. So different scenarios everybody have. I too have. I was not working in last 1 month, and then you have a fear also. What if I don't pass? Because you have a limited attempt. So you always go through that rift of fear as well. And I used to speak to Ankit sir. I used to message him. I used to message my mentor. I used to message Mayank sir, if I'm stuck in, and they were always available. I used to get a call back from them. We used to set up a quick call. And I think that is also one of the major things which really helped me to keep myself calm, composed, and a support that, okay, somebody is actually have confidence in you. I remember I told Ankit sir a few days back from the exam that I'm nervous. I think I should postpone my exam. And he said, no. I said, I want you to take my test. Like, quickly assess me. How do you feel? Because he's been so experienced in that. So, of course, he can tell. And I think he asked me a few questions and he said, you're all good. Just go for it. So I think that is very important to know somebody who is teaching us, and then they say these things without any doubt. That gives you a lot of confidence. Okay, I can do it.
What was your course strategy that helped you to pass the PCE?
I think I would say it's very subjective. It's very tailor-made for everyone. But what really worked for me is practicing more questions and mock exams. So there was a point when I was reading, I was completing the content, and then I completely navigated to, shift my preparation towards solving more questions every day. And now let mock exams or the questions tell me where I'm weak and what's my strong area. So then through that, I'll start again revising and retaining stuff which is important for the exam, and which I know that, okay, these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses. So let's focus on weaknesses so you don't repeat the same thing in the next exam. So I think practicing questions every single day for last 2 months, that really worked very well for me. And I think because of that, I was able to fetch decent score also. Although I finished all the lectures and all everything, but I think questions really helped me to understand the concept, to remove a lot of gray areas and work on my weaknesses. I was also in the same boat, the whole idea was to first finish the syllabus. But let me tell you from my own experience, let's say I have exam tomorrow and I will not be able to finish my syllabus even until tonight. That's the normal, I think, tendency. Read one more day. I think that's with everyone, right? Including me, everyone. But once you start solving questions, you get to know, okay, this is something I know, this is something I don't know, I have to work more. And that really helped me, because then I spoke to Mayank sir also, who's a neuro, who's taking all the classes for neuro, and he suggested me strongly, practice more questions and then let questions tell you where you have to go back and read, versus just reading and finishing the lecture.
Where is these questions coming from? Like, does StudyBuddy gives you a question bank? Do they have an app, or like, where are you getting all these questions from?
Yeah, they PCE team have a different platform. So they have an app also, which is available on Google Store and app iPhone. They have the website. Now, once you enroll in their program, you have the access to the website where they have posted all the quiz, basically you can say a small quiz, small test for different topics. You have certain things for cardiopulmonary, for multisystem, for MSK, for neuro, and then they give you some questions to practice. And then they have a huge question, like chunk of questions in every lecture as well. Let's say if Ankush sir is teaching shoulder, so he probably have more than 50 questions that he would cover in that lecture. So I think you learn a lot from those material. And then you have then they have mock exams as well. As of today, I would say they have 5 mock exams, which is very standardized as per the PCE written exam, right? And then if somebody wants to practice more, you have other reference material as well. NPTE therapy aid book is there, score builder is there. Yeah.
Great. Looks like StudyBuddy has got a very content-heavy resources for the students, right?
Yeah. So, and also they have the best thing is they have rationalization also given about every question and answer. And then if somebody wants to read the same content, they can go back and refer to the page number they have mentioned. So it becomes, as a student, if I talk about it, becomes very easy, to follow with the things. It's not all over the place, I would say. So it's there, you just need to follow the plan. And that's why, I always suggest everyone to please finish the lectures first, questions first, which is given on the website. That's it. Then you are, I think, 70% prepared. And then we'll see how we can go forward. Yeah.
I have few more questions related to questions, like, because you have a question and then you have got 4 very similar looking answers. So what do you do? Do you follow your gut feeling, or do you look for the answers which are absolutely no, then you come out to the yes one? Like, how do you solve it? Like, what's the secret of solving the questions?
Okay, so that's again an art which is being taught to me by the team when we practice, by my mentor Ritika when I was preparing for the written exam. Something called as elimination and anticipation. Now, when you read, let's not talk about the options A, B, C, D. Let's just read the question, right? Now you know what is given there. They have mentioned, let's say, a case with some age, some gender, some occupation, some differential diagnosis they have given. Now because you have read something about that condition, you will start anticipating, okay, what could be the answer in those 4 options, right? And then you have now already anticipated based on your reading and your knowledge through the lectures and all. And now you go through the options A, B, C, D. Now, because something is already prepared in my head, I will start eliminating. Okay, with the scenario, what they're asking, what is being given in the options, A is gone, B is gone. Now maybe I'm confused between C and D, right? C and D. I used to do, you have to go back again and read the question again. You will find some words which will crack or, solve the delusion between the other 2 options. So I think again, elimination and anticipation, but that how will you build that strategy? Like, how will you able to eliminate it? How will you anticipate? It's only because if you have studied, you have gone through the lectures, so you have the knowledge about, let's say, rotator cuff injuries or bursitis, because you know what they are. On those things, you'll be able to eliminate. If you just jump on the questions directly without reading anything, then yes, it will be like, it's a bluff. And exam, don't go with a bluff in the exam. They have a limited attempts, like 3. So I would always tell everyone to please prepare well before you appear for the exam. So anticipation, elimination, which you will learn, which as a student you will learn with the practice, and practice more questions, and then you will get it. This is what the team, the StudyBuddy team, they taught me. My mentor, she taught me, and it worked really well for me. So again, everything comes around the lectures and the questions. There's no rocket science. It's not complicated. It is simple. Stick to the basics. I think everybody says in every field, your basics should be strong and rest can be taken care of. So I would say the same thing.
Ankush, I've heard that, in order to be fully licensed in Canada, you have to give not 1 but 2 exams, the written part, which you have already done, and then clinical exams. So have you given the clinical exams as well?
Yeah, so I have given, I've cleared my clinical exam in 2023, October last year. Yes, to be fully registered in Canada, you need to clear both the components. So first one is written exam, and once you clear written exam, then you can apply for the clinical component. And once you clear your clinical exam, then you will be fully registered in all the province wherever you want to work. So I've done both.
And for clinical exam also, like, do we need support from an institute? Do we also need mentorship? Like, how does it go about?
So I was very much in rush at that time last year, because I was traveling for work. I was in States, and I was not getting the dates also for the exam. And when I actually got the dates, I was in US in September, and I got an email from the registration board that they are giving me date for October. So I just had 3 weeks or 4 weeks time to give, and the next exam would be in January or March. So I spoke to the StudyBuddy team, can you help me? So I enrolled their classes. I enrolled in the mentorship, because I just had 1 month, 4 weeks or 3 weeks left to prepare and give. That's it. So they worked really well for me. Their classes, again, very streamlined, ethical scenarios. So I opt for mentorship as well, because again, I was crunch on a time. So my mentor again narrowed down things for me. She used to take, and this exam is more about clinical practice. They're going to ask a lot of scenarios, everything, which is again will be covered in the mock exams and mentorship as well. So I think StudyBuddy, again, collectively, it worked very well. In 1 month's time, I prepared and I gave my exam. I cleared the exam as well.
A lot of people do ask me, like, you are associated with StudyBuddy, what is it like? And they ask me about exams and all, and I'm somebody who's not involved with StudyBuddy with respect to the courses and all, but your video, what you've just shared with me, is definitely giving me a very clear insight of what these 2 exams are, what kind of subjects are there, and how to prepare, best strategy. So thank you so much for sharing your journey.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure to be here, and I'm all grateful to be what I've achieved so far. The credit goes to my family, people around, StudyBuddy team, and everyone. So, and I would be happy to help anyone who is going through preparing for these exams. They can reach out to StudyBuddy. In case they want to reach out to me, I can help them. I'm also associated with StudyBuddy as a mentor for the PCE written exam. So I would be happy to help anyone, and all the best to everyone who's going for these exams.